Welcome to the town of Tazewell. It's an historic event. It's my understanding, and I'll assure you, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. It's the first time in maybe 30 years since a governor has been in the town of Tazewell. So, I was told to make it short, and I'm trying. I'm honored to have the opportunity to introduce to you the Secretary of Commerce and Trade, Mr. Ball.
Thank you. Hello, everybody, and thank you all for being here. And let me just say, it is a real privilege for me to be able to serve as Secretary of Commerce and Trade for Governor Northam. And one of the joys of the job I've just had is I've been able to spend a week here in Southwest Virginia, and we've been a lot of places and seen a lot of things and done a lot of things. And the hospitality, and it's just been overwhelming. And I got to know, well, he was then Senator Northam, Dr. Northam, when he first joined the Virginia Senate, and then of course he became Lieutenant Governor, and of course now he's Governor of Virginia. And the one thing I wanted to tell you all today is this governor has a lot of things on his plate. I've learned that, and I've got one little slice of it. But his commitment and this administration's commitment to economic development, particularly rural economic development, is something we talk about every day. And this trip is just been wonderful because it's reinforced. We've talked about workforce development. We've talked about you've got some wonderful sites in this part of the world for economic development. We've talked about incentives, and you've got this natural beauty and wonderful people here. We talk about it in Richmond, and we've been talking about it here, and the governor's commitment, as I said, to economic development in rural Virginia is unwavering. And with that, I give to you our 73rd Governor Ralph Northam.
It is good to be back in Tazewell. I was here just a few months ago, and what a beautiful area of the country. You know, I'm from rural Virginia. I'm from the Eastern Shore, all the way on the other side. A lot of people even leave us off the map, but I can see why you all call this God's country, and it is just beautiful. And we've had a beautiful day, and I know Secretary Ball, you've been traveling around for the last week, and really appreciate your service, but just very genuine, hard-working, gracious people, and we really enjoy being in this part of the greatest commonwealth and the greatest country in the world. I also want to recognize our Secretary of Administration, Kiana Connor. Some of my elected officials with us today: Chris Hurst from the 12th House of Delegates District. Delegate LaSharice Ayer from the 63rd House of Delegate District. And you all know, he doesn't need any introduction. Delegate Will Warfield from the 3rd Delegate. So as you travel around the Commonwealth, one thing that you really realize is how beautiful Virginia is, and that we really have everything, and that we all need to work together in what I describe as the Virginia way to do what's in the best interest of Virginia. And one of the things, as the Secretary of Commerce said, is that we're very interested in the economy in Virginia. We want to make sure that everybody in Virginia has a job that they can support themselves and their families with. And one of the things that I did when we were in Dickinson County, we announced 40 jobs there just a little while ago. And we're very proud that in the Commonwealth of Virginia, our unemployment rate right now is at 3.4%. It's the lowest it's been in over 10 years. but I can tell you that if you go to the Eastern Shore, where I'm from, or if you go to the South Side or here in the Southwest, we're not at 3.4%. So one of the things that we have to do is lift up all of Virginia and make sure that our economy in all of Virginia is doing well. And one of the reasons that I'm here today is to sign a piece of legislation that will help us move in that direction. And I want to give these delegates that are with me today, and also the delegates and senators in Richmond, credit for what I call really thinking outside the box and how do we all help rural Virginia. And so I really appreciate your all's leadership. And what this bill will do, and I know Delegate Moorfield is going to say a little bit more about it in just a little bit, but it will allow tax credits. It will also allow places, regions across the Commonwealth to apply for grants. And so, as I said, we need to think of all the things that we can do to help lift rural Virginia. And I also would add that it's not just rural Virginia. There are some urban areas in Virginia that are struggling as well. And so part of this bill is to reach out and identify those parts of Virginia that need our help and offer that. So I really thank you all for your leadership, and I thank you for being here today for this bill signing. When we look at helping Virginia, especially rural Virginia, things like transportation. Look, I'm a pediatrician, so I love to hear that. So you make yourselves at home. And if there's anybody else who would like to bring their children in here. But a couple other things I was going to say about our economy. Certainly transportation and infrastructure are important. That's why we were visiting in Buchanan County a little while earlier this morning, looking at the Corridor Q project, looking at ways that we can help in Richmond to support that, to make sure that we get that completed. Healthcare is very important to Commonwealth of Virginia. We want to make sure that all Virginians have access to affordable and quality health care. And then just one last announcement before I turn this over to Delegate Moorfield. You know, there are areas of Virginia, regions of Virginia that are dependent on industries. And for example, where we lived before I moved to Richmond in Hampton Roads, we're very dependent on the military and government contracting. On the Eastern Shore where I'm from, we're very dependent on farming and working on the water. And we always will be. And I know in the Southwest, you all are very dependent and will continue to be on the coal industry. And so one of the pieces of legislation that was introduced this year and passed in both the House and the Senate was the coal tax credit. And I just wanted to announce while I'm here in Tazewell that last night, before we got on the plane to come here, last night I signed the coal tax credit. Together, as they say, it takes a village, right? And this is our village. We're going to make sure that we continue to keep Virginia the best state in this country, a state where I said earlier that people will want to come, live, raise their families, and enjoy our wonderful quality of life. So thank you all so much. And well, I'm going to ask if Delegate Moorfield will offer some comments and maybe a little bit of explanation about his piece of legislation. And then after that, we'll sit down at the table and put some ink on some paper. So thank you all so much for having me here in Tazewell.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Governor, we are honored to have you here today, and as the town manager said, it's been roughly 30 years since the sitting governor has been here. And we're honored that members of your cabinet are here. We're also honored that my colleagues are here as well. And on a personal note, I will tell you that we notice you have been to Southwest Virginia more than any governor at least. That truly means a lot, and I think a lot of that has to do with your experience in the General Assembly. You understand that we are a diverse Commonwealth, but we're all equal. You understand the challenges and the struggles that we face every day because, as you said, in the area that you grew up, you are struggling and faced with just as many challenges as we are. And so we're here today. It's a momentous occasion, something that, quite honestly, I thought was not going to happen. We were told from early on when we introduced this legislation that this legislation would not pass. In fact, we were told that this legislation would not even make it through the committee process. And we were told this because it was too much of a change of policy. It was too extreme. In fact, many people in the General Assembly said this legislation that you all are proposing is too extreme. Well, my colleagues and I knew that extreme is exactly what we require to deal with the many challenges that we're faced with. In the 9 years that I have served as a member of the House of Delegates, I have seen our economy in Southwest Virginia continue to get worse. We have seen more and more people leave this area. We have fewer and fewer students that are enrolled in the public school systems. And so I think it is safe to say that we have a new generation of leaders in the General Assembly. We have a leader as a governor who are willing to put partisan politics aside. We have a new generation of leaders who respect people for who they are and for what their political beliefs are, because that's the given right we were given as Americans. And so with that being said, I'm encouraged with the direction that we are moving in. I'm encouraged the direction that my colleagues in the House are moving in. And we're here to tell you today that this is not the end. And in fact, this is the start and the beginning of what we would say are many good things to come. And Governor, we are very thankful for your support. And in addition to the signing of the bill, Delegate Aird and I are excited to announce that today we will be hosting the first meeting of economic development representatives from Southwest Virginia, the newly created Cumberland Industrial Facilities Authority, with representatives from the region that she represents. We have representatives from that authority with us today. It is our hope that we can create a statewide partnership of economic and industrial authority partnerships from around the Commonwealth with the purpose of promoting economic development. The partnership could potentially generate millions more in tax revenue for our localities by establishing tax revenue sharing agreements. Localities partnering with one another instead of working against one another. Just imagine we could help provide financial incentives for companies around the Commonwealth and all benefit by sharing the local tax revenue generated. We are dedicated to proving that Fortune 500 companies can set up shop in some of the most distressed localities, not only in Virginia, but in the country. We realize that the status quo is no longer effective and that we have to do something on a scale that has never been done before in Virginia. We are committed to improving the quality of life for everyone, and we will continue working very hard every single day for you. So God bless you.
So House Bill 222, and I want to reiterate something that Delegate Moorfield just told you all. You know, you hear so much about partisan politics and nobody can get along and nothing's getting done. This is a wonderful example standing behind me and what happened in Richmond with this piece of legislation. This is about leadership, and it's about folks that believe in the Virginia way, and that is that, you know, we can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we do what's in the best interest of Virginia. So right now, and I'm glad we have these cameras in front of me, you have a Democrat on my right and a Republican on my left. We're going to move forward in Virginia, so thank you. First step, how do you get the pen out of the haven't had this happen before. All right, no, we good. I was gonna say, a doctor always has a pen, but ain't always get it out. So.
Can y'all move in a little bit closer? Thank you.
All right, there you go. Good job.
Gentlemen, before you leave, we got a gift for you on behalf of the town of Tazewell, and I'd like to introduce to you the Honorable Don Buchanan, Mayor.
Actually, we've got a couple gifts here, and on behalf of the town of Tazewell, citizens of the town of Tazewell, welcome to God's country, most progressive town in Southwest Virginia. By far.
Well, thank you so much.
We have a picture of our lake that was taken.
Wow. That is beautiful.
And I think the frame was at between friends.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
So we got a couple more gifts.
This is just like Christmas.
You gotta read this, though.
I think it's Plains Lake too. So.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Jeff Ingram, he's a former instructor at Russell County Public Schools and an independent photographer professional, and this photo today was about the town of Tazewell. And this frame here is at our Main Street. And Nancy Brooks, who lives in Tazewell, is a member of IDA, active business owner. The frame is by her called Sleeping Dog.
Wow.
And it's a formed glass and beautiful. Congratulations.
Sure, thank you so much.
All these are talented artists in our town. And Jeff Bailey, he lives in Tazewell, he works for Lamar. And he's a wood carver. In his spare times, he's won many wood carving competitions. And this is a first place that he won at Charlotte Carving Association.
Wow. Thank you so much. We will display all of these proudly at our home in Richmond, and I hope you all will come visit us in Richmond. We have an open door policy, so please come, and I will try as best I can to return the hospitality. One other thing I would like to say, and I didn't mention, Senator Stanton from Franklin County is the patron of this same bill on the Senate side. And so I'll be signing that a little bit later. But if you see Senator Stanley, thank him as well for his efforts also. So thank you all so much.